Welcome back. So, from the last session, we actually finished all of the events that were supposed to happen, but we didn't have any closure time. So, basically, you were able to kill the big baddie, which is the Gundalis tree, and Mr. I think I would have remembered his name by now. Blake. The druid that had caused all of us trouble. And you were able to rescue both of the old companions, or at least the old party, half of the old party, and were able to bring them back successfully back to Oakhurst. So some of the aftermath that happened after this, because you left the kobolds alive, they would have taken over the entire level. They would have had a run-in with Salarax, but just because of sheer numbers, Salarax probably would have been defeated. Which is to say that even though he's an evil dragon, he would have been bested eventually by enough snare traps and recaged. So, too bad for Salarax there on that one.
Well, he's evil, so fuck him.
Them all.
He was an evil dragon. He was an evil dragon, so fuck him.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we appease the kobolds or the dragon? Like, it's kind of a lose-lose situation there.
Yeah.
When you got to Oakhurst, you would talk with the mayor, and the mayor would discuss the events that had happened. And so, the Twig Blights are a plague across the land that, because of where it's at, it can't be stopped at this point. So that would be something that other adventurers or people would have to eventually take care of. They'll have to go out and just kill more of them. But with the Gunthalis tree at least destroyed, the major spread is stopped. This also stops any of those special poison or health apples to be created as well. So that would have an effect on the market, even though it was there for only a couple of years. There will be a power gap for those magical items at least. And those apples will probably go up in price very rapidly as they disappear. Some things that you gathered. So the two companions would have, they actually live in this case. You didn't let them die, which, yay. So that means you get a reward. So the two remaining people that stayed would be Miri and Thex, so you guys will get to split the reward. I just have to find what the number is.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
So it's 250 gold per person you brought back of good health. So you did that. So that's 250 gold per person. So between Thax and Miri, you both get 250 gold, is what that means. The fighter of the group, which would have been... Gosh, I'm not really good with the names today. Sir Bradford, he had a sword. This sword was known as Shatterspike. He decided that it was better in the hands of someone more capable like Thax than himself, as he had made a mistake. After about an hour of holding the sword, you would have attuned to it. And so what Shatterspike can do, as I go to the back side of the book, is it has a +1 to attack and damage, meaning it's of magical properties. So anytime you make an attack, the attack will be magical with it. What is kind of cool about this sword is that it has the property that you can turn it sideways, apparently. It was the joke that my roommate made. But you can either do slashing or bludgeoning damage. You get a choice when you're attacking. So,
you just get to batter someone with a sword. Awesome.
Yeah, you can turn it sideways.
Okay, I'm sorry. I think did it have a name?
Shatterspike.
Shatterspike. One word?
Yep. Also, it can't be destroyed by non-magical items. So if another person was whacking at it with an axe, they'll never be able to chop through it.
Do I put anything in the magic bonus? Slot?
+1.
+1.
That should mean that it should do an extra damage every time and an extra in the attack roll. Something that Larissa would have given to Thax after Waking Ways was the map of the Stone Tooth, which is what you found on Balang when you were done. Which no one really has any kind of current knowledge of what that is. It's just a map of a big rock, basically, or a mountain is what it looks like. While in Oakhurst, the mayor also grabbed something that Black had on him for a long time. He had dropped it off in the city beforehand and decided it would be best if this new adventuring party would have it, and it is a reward poster. Let me grab that and repost that. Wrong chat. Correct chat. Copy. Paste. Okay. So in the D&D campaign, there is a wanted poster. This wanted poster talks about a deadly creature, and it's called the Stone Tooth creature. It's asked to be killed, and it's by Mr. S, and it's worth 10,000 gold.
Some serious money.
A little bit. And so that's basically all of the closure coming from the Son of Citadel. If there's any questions you have, now would be the time to ask. And I can find those on my knowledge.
So you said that the party members who are not staying are giving things to people who are?
Just the important necessities. So that would be just the map.
Fair enough. Just thank you.
What happened to Urki?
Oh, that's a good question. So Urki, after escaping, would probably go back to his hometown and continue his priest work. As a gnome, he probably would be in the Underdark somewhere. Possibly he might have been one of the survivors from the onslaught by the slime invasion in Lichtenstone. It is possible. That's a reference to a different campaign around the same time period. So there you go.
Easter egg.
And actually, him going to the Underdark isn't too far because there's a spot from the Sunless Citadel to the Underdark, so he would have had access to get to it. Though he would have been on basically the other side of the Underdark from Lichtenstone, so he would have had a long trek ahead of him.
With those short little legs, it takes a while.
You have knowledge of the Underdark, which isn't too bad. It takes a while.
Let's see here. I feel like there was probably some other questions I had, but I can't recall.
I got my gold. I'm good.
Some quick stuff going into future campaigns. So for the next one, we won't give the new players or new characters magical weapons. But after the next campaign, anytime you switch a character, you will have an option from a list provided by me of different magical weapons, and you can pick one. And that list will get more plentiful as we go along, too. That way, for people that keep characters, you'll be able to keep the magical weapons you've been, collecting. And if you're new, you're not being shafted and start with nothing. You'll at least get something to start with. Then I might tweak that a little bit as time goes on, but for the most part, that way it should even out the power difference.
Fair enough.
And that way, everyone should have access to at least a magical item, whether it's an attack weapon or not, is kind of to be decided.
When a character leaves a campaign, is there any RP reasoning for that? Like, did they just assume that the life of adventuring wasn't for them?
That can be up to the character themselves. I would say for Tuono specifically, I think he decided that adventuring was not his pastime that he wanted to live. After shooting his friends enough times and just missing in general, he decided to put up the bow and do something different.
I love it.
Larissa also would have decided that the group mentality of being with a team was just a bad time. There's just too much fuss, and rather just kind of kill on her own. Then she doesn't have to worry about people talking about ethics and what's the right thing to do.
And guys picking her up and throwing her at doors.
Yeah.
Those pesky paladins always trying to do the right thing. Jeez.
Yeah. And then I forgot her name. Theron. His name, I should say. That character also would have decided that a group life just wasn't for him. Being such a small talker, realistically not being able to function in the group setting very well, decided that it's best to do more of a solo gig. Whether they live or not, up to them.
Sounds good.
But that would lead to the next campaign, Forge of Fury. You can cut all that, right?
I could.
Darn it. Forge of Fury, which is the next campaign, and that'll be based off of this wanted poster, basically. So you have a map of the Stone Tooth, and you have a wanted poster of an idea of what you're supposed to be looking for, which is that there's some kind of deadly creature in this Stone Tooth.
Okay, and
So
transition. Hey, there's everybody.